Hey, welcome to the ONTV studios. Ian Locke here. Matt Pfeiffer's back.
Hey, how you doing?
Day 5 of the ONTV food drive for fish, 14th annual. We've had a crazy week. A lot of donations came in. Home Depot was here yesterday. The staff over there at the Lake Orion Home Depot collected a whole van of food and really packed it in the van. The van's about 3/4 full. We still could use some donations, and the door to the van will be open till about 3:34 today. Okay. So we have to get those. We have hockey, Lake Orion hockey on Saturday, so we need our van, and we need to unload that van at Fish today. So get those donations in as soon as you can. If you can't get them in right away, that's okay. Bring them in next week. We are a year-round collection spot for fish, and just drop them off. Or we can go over to your establishment.
Yeah, absolutely. Always happy to receive any goods. And great thing about our setup over at Northern Wholesale Flooring is we leave the door open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you can't get there today, although we'd love for you to just get it to the van and get that van full by the end of the day, you drop it off in our vestibule, and I will work with Ian.
And what's your address?
Our address is 118 Indianwood Road. Now there's a closed sign at Indianwood Road, but it is open to the businesses and to through traffic. So you drive right by, no traffic. You can pull right up to the door and drop off your goods there. Obviously, we're looking for dry goods, nothing refrigerated or frozen. But we would love to make it even easier on you to drop it off 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right there at Northern.
Which is a good information to have, because we close down at 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday and at 5 p.m. on Friday. So having that option to drop it off 24/7 over at Northern Wholesale Flooring. You know,
really?
We have only 5 people working here, and people need time off, right? So, but yeah, you can bring it in anytime. If you'd like to donate cash, we're taking that too. There's ways to do that.
You know what? That reminds me of something.
Yes.
You know, before I came in, I stopped by, visited my good buddy Keith Aldridge over at Canterbury. Yes, we talked about it, and of course, as Keith always does, he stepped up, and we got a little check, so I'm going to open it up. Now, Keith's deal was, and he started doing this a couple of years ago, is, you know, when he donates, what he's looking for is for folks to match his donations, so that we can help to really build up the total. So Mr. Aldridge generously donated $1,000.
Hey!
$1,000. So where's the total at?
Joey, what do we have a total? Want to go overhead? I don't know if I updated the webpage. It's Friday. Hey, there you go. We're at 13,685.
Wait, what?
It'll be now 14,685.
14,685. Thank you, Mr. Aldridge.
Absolutely.
And the team at Canterbury Village. What a great group of people. Always willing to step up and help those in the community. But wow, so I remember back on Monday when you said, all right, we got a $6,000 goal, and you know, what are we going to do? And we have blown that out of the water.
We have more than doubled it, and
give that to you.
I appreciate
it.
You
know, gets to the right place.
As always, and as we go off the air at 2, and we're only here from 12 to 2 for this lunch break, right? Live in the studio. But after hours, after the 2 p.m., we have people rolling in, you know, still bringing donations and still bringing cash, and they say that Orion, Oxford area always comes through, right? We're a different type of community than most.
We are.
When you ask for help, the help is there.
Yeah. When you look at what separates our community from others, and why so many are rabid defenders of our community, and it is the generosity that I think stands up and stands up more than anything else. And the beauty of it is, you know, we do have people that are challenged in our area. People don't realize there are people right here in Orion, right here in Oxford, and surrounding areas that are struggling to feed their families and to eat every week. And as I've mentioned before, imagine looking at your kids, or your wife or your husband, and saying, I'm sorry, we don't have enough food. We're going to have to, you know, we can't afford to eat dinner tonight. So because of the generosity of our community in so many levels, Oxford Orion Fish, incredible organization that does so much to feed folks, but not only them. We've got our group at Canterbury working with Woodside Bible in Orion Township, and we hand out groceries to about 350, 400 people every week. Every week, and then we have a pantry there, and then we work with
Forgotten Harvest. I mean, the
Forgotten
name
Harvest.
Forgotten Harvest.
Incredible.
We know and Canterbury Village is the North Oakland hub.
Yep.
For North Oakland County, for Forgotten Harvest. So
and we're over 3.5 years now. 3.5 years every Monday, except for holidays or the occasional ice storm,
Yes.
which we try to work through those.
Yeah.
We have a dedicated group of volunteers. Every dollar that does come in, because we do collect some money to
Okay.
keep that pantry stocked, every dollar that comes in goes to feed people. None of it's for overhead. Everything is donated between Woodside donating space, Canterbury donating space. All of us are volunteers that come out there every week. And we are looking for volunteers. If you are one of those folks that wants to, make a difference but isn't quite sure how to do it, join us. Join us up at Canterbury on Monday mornings. If you're there by 8:30, I'll put you to work. It's not hard work, but it is incredibly rewarding. And I have to say, you're going to get hooked. I kind of was called in. Julia Dalrymple was there doing it at the very beginning, and they were
she's
short.
been there since day one.
She has. She's incredible. What a great public servant Julia is, and just a great person. But so she was out there one day. I was hiking by, and they were kind of scrambling, and I went and said, "How you doing?" She goes, "We're short-handed. Can you jump in and help?" And that was when we were still over across the
park,
street.
right?
Yeah, at the park. It
Civic
was
Center Park.
Very. It was in the middle of COVID. Things were crazy. And then I was hooked.
Yeah.
And so it's been a wonderful thing. But you're going to get hooked because there is nothing better than the feeling of giving and helping others and those in need.
And I love the way you put it. You get hooked. And the volunteers at Fish, long-time volunteers. Their organization has had the same volunteers for a long time. They have some key volunteers that really keep that operation running. And we also get hooked with our sponsors, right? We've had sponsors that have been with us for 14 years. Yeah. And we know we can call upon them anytime we ask for help for Fish. And here's a quick video about our sponsors for Friday. All of us at ONTV would like to thank our corporate sponsors for their generous donations. Today's portion of the 2024 ONTV Food Drive is brought to you by Madison Heights Plumbing and Heating Supply, located at 719 East Mandolin Avenue in Madison Heights. The family-owned business has been serving the Detroit metro area for over 30 years. Madison Heights Plumbing and Heating Supply is supporting the food drive for a second year and is a 5-day sponsor. In addition to the ONTV Food Drive, they proudly support other charitable events and organizations, such as Toys for Tots, Bottomless Chest, and St. Jude's Children's Hospital. For more information, give them a call at 248-588-4690 or visit their website, MadisonHeightsPlumbingSupply.com. Northern Wholesale Flooring, located at 118 Indianwood Road in Lake Orion. Northern Wholesale Flooring has been an active member of the community for over 38 years. They are a returning partner of the ONTV Food Drive and are a 5-day sponsor. For more information, you can visit their website, nflooring.com. Ohana Wealth Advisory. This is Ohana Wealth Advisory's second year supporting the food drive, and they are a 5-day sponsor. For more information, you can give them a call at 248-246-8080. Kroger, located at 3097 South Baldwin Road in Orion Township. This year, Kroger is a 5-day sponsor, thanks to a generous $500 donation to the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. For more information about Kroger, visit their website, kroger.com, or give them a call at 248-393-0765. Meyer of Lake Orion, located at 1107 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Meyer is a year-round supporter of the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry, collecting food pantry donations through their Simply Give program. They are a 5-day sponsor of the ONTV Food Drive with a charitable $500 contribution. For more information, visit their website, Meyer.com. M3 Investments, located at 990 North Main Street in Royal Oak. Having a plan that is designed around your goals and financial situation can help you successfully navigate the risks you are likely to face. Whether you're just starting out, thinking about retirement, or just retired, Christine can help. For more information about M3 Investments, you can give them a call at 248-543-3400. Galling Buick GMC, located at 1491 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Galling is a longtime supporter of the food drive, returning this year as a 5-day sponsor. For more information, you can visit their website at GallingBuickGMC.com. Provider Claims Management, located at 30 South Street, Suite 300 in Ortonville. Provider Claims Management is a first-time sponsor of the ONTV Food Drive, donating $200 to our final goal. For more information, you can give them a call at 248-627-8881. You can also check out their Facebook page. And Haney Farm Bureau Insurance, located at 18 South Broadway Street, Suite 100 in Lake Orion. Haney Farm Bureau is a first-time supporter of the ONTV Food Drive. They donated $200 to the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. For more information, you can give them a call at 248-464-5219 or visit their website, mishfb.com. All right, thanking our sponsors once again. Again, our sponsors change every day. Friday sponsors just showcased on your screen with that wonderful video that the ONTV staff put together. And we have one of our sponsors back with us again, but working with the Eagles. So we had a surprise check come in. We had no idea this was happening. So here we go. We're going to dump it over to
well, thanks, Ian.
Do your thing.
What a great toss.
I don't even.
It's like an old pro.
Live TV, not really.
Before.
No, not at all.
Well, this is pretty exciting. So I am sitting here not only, as you guys know, with Ian over here, but with Pam Vulcan. And Pam did not plan on being on camera today, but guess what? We aren't letting her get away with sneaking out. So Pam and her husband Bill and their company, Madison Heights Plumbing Supply, has been an amazing supporter of this and really any effort that pops up in Orion. We've worked together on quite a few things at this point, and I'm so thankful for you guys. And your generosity is it's unbelievable. So they came in on Monday, and we started with a $5,000 donation from Madison Heights Plumbing Supply. So that's incredible. And as if that wasn't enough, Pam showed up today and said, "Hey, I've got a couple more checks for you." So
why not, right?
Pam and Bill are members of the Eagles, the Orion Oxford Eagles here in Orion, and I'm also a member, thanks to them. And Bill's also the secretary. Yes. At the Eagles. And so the group at the Eagles put together a $500 donation, and then of course Pam and Bill, who are not to be outdone, matched that for another $500. So that's another $1,000 towards the total to put in with that $1,000. So that's $2,000 in what? We're about 12 minutes into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking fantastic. Pam, first of all, thank you.
You're welcome.
We know exactly where this money's going, and we know exactly the impact it can make. And you guys, huge sponsors of this, and like I said, everything. Why?
We're happy to do it. The people have to eat, and it's like Bill said, it's fun. It's fun to give back. I would rather give back than receive, and I get more joy out of giving. And my husband also.
Yeah, well, it's very obvious.
Yes.
You guys have blown me away on so many occasions when I expected you to, hand me a $100 check, which would be incredible. And you guys are over the top, incredibly generous, and
thank you
you're
so much.
Incredible community members, and we're so lucky to have you.
You're welcome. Well, you do a lot too.
Yeah, I talk. You do. I talk. Well,
You do.
Anyway, I enjoy it. To
It's
me,
good to
like
do.
you, it's like, a passion.
You were just saying is like you get hooked.
Yeah.
You get hooked
Yes.
on giving, right?
Yes.
And that was kind of not that we sat down and had a theme for today,
No,
but that's
no,
kind
this
of
is all scripted and planned.
no,
right?
absolutely no.
Am I reciting the
there's
script appropriately?
No script, but you get hooked
You do.
on doing these sorts of things. And we talked off air on
Yes.
Monday after you came in, and how your families are developed into, giving and the idea of other,
Yes.
working with others or helping others. And you guys are a great example, as you are, Mama Ann, and
you
Fish and the volunteers at Fish and everybody around town. So we're so thankful for what you've done for us.
You're so
and
welcome.
I can't wait to hand this over to Fish, because they usually go, well, how'd it go? We're like, very, very well, and especially on our last day. So thank you so much to you and your
you're
husband and
welcome.
the Eagles and your associates at your business and that sort of thing. So
You're welcome.
It's great.
Both of you.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to roll into the next programming segment. Is that okay? Sponsors. Okay, here's a sponsor video real quick video. Thank you, Steve. It's been all week for me. We're going to go to a video to highlight some of our sponsors for today.
The history, well, it was back in 1985, Northern was founded, and I purchased it in early 2004. So it was almost 20 years old when I purchased it. And that puts us at, what if I have that right, 36 years, I think, 36, 37 years now that Northern's been serving the Orion community as well as surrounding communities. Times are changing, and I'm a big believer in that if we don't change with them, then we're going to be left behind. And so, when I bought the store, it was located there in the plaza next to OPA, which is that plaza is most known for, and we were there for a long time. And then I had the opportunity to buy a building on 24, which I did with the intention of going to a more full-service, high-end, kind of a destination flooring store. And the reality is, at the same time I was doing that, the industry was changing. And the industry was changing to a lot of online sellers and to the big box stores. Really the strength of the big box stores has become very challenging for independent retailers, and many independent retailers went away. So at that point, I made the decision to change up the model, and it was painful because we had a beautiful space there and still that great reputation, but I believed that we needed to evolve. And now the great thing is with the floor trader, the addition of the floor trader, we have a lot more space here. We have over 100,000 feet of flooring in stock, and we have better buys than anybody. I mean, any big box store. When it comes to quality for price, there is nobody that can touch us, and especially our independent retail friends and big box and the Costco's and all of them. So we've created a destination that gives customers what they need, regardless of what end of the spectrum they're on in terms of their needs for flooring. And I couldn't have done that in that location. So as much as it hurt, we did what we had to be relevant for today's customer, and they're why we're here. So if we aren't changing for them, then I think that we're making a mistake. I love what we do and we're proud of our business, but the reality is I'm a believer that it is our responsibility as a business in a small community to take care of our community. And so, we started many years ago with a few efforts, like we used to do packages for the troops when we had a lot of people overseas, and we did that in honor of one of our locals that passed, Raymond Plower, who lost his life in the conflict in Iraq. And so back in those days, we were there for that family, and we built a partnership with them. And then it just kind of evolved to anytime there was a need, we tried to jump in. And quite frankly, I spend way more of my time doing that at this point personally than I do on our business, and I leave that to our staff, which is, we're real proud of them as well. But the reality is there's a lot of needs. We also are collecting food for this food drive, and I'm looking forward to being a part of that as well and helping to make sure that you guys meet the goal. So there are so many needs in our community, and I'd say more than ever, at least it feels that way. And so we believe it's our responsibility and duty to be a part of that, and quite frankly, we encourage all of you out there to patron the businesses, because when I do anything in charity, we reach out to all my local business friends, and there are many of them that come through time after time after time and are here for us to help us be able to take care of people when they're in need in these tragedies. And I would encourage you to follow me, follow what we're doing in those businesses, and support those businesses in the community. Because the reality is, if I didn't have those businesses to lean on, I couldn't do what we do as a team here and as a team in the community to help others. So we need businesses that give back, and we just really encourage our locals to keep that in mind when you're making purchases. If you're buying from a big box store, not that they're bad people, but they probably aren't doing a lot in our local community. And there's a lot of businesses that, don't focus on the community, and we just think that your money would be better spent in helping those that help make our community the great, amazing place that it is. You guys need to drive up here with some food. Better yet, drive up with some cash. And if you're a company, you need to call in and you need to donate some money to help keep this food pantry stocked for all of our guests. So I challenge all of you, join us in this fight. And if everybody does a little bit, it's really not that challenging, and we can do great things together.
We are a medical billing service, and I have been in business for 25 years. We just moved to this office in the last 2 years, but we do billing for providers' offices, so we do cardiology, hematology, oncology, vascular care, infectious disease, but we do all the specialties. Well, I live in the community, so I wanted to be close, especially when my kids were little, so that I could be close to them when they got out of school. But I love the small community feel. And so being downtown with all its history, it's been really cool, and we really enjoy being downtown. As a small business, we like to give back to the local communities around us, and with Lake Orion, I grew up in Lake Orion, so it's an important community to me. In Ortonville ourselves, we have that need too, and we see it in the school system, so we know that most of the communities around also have that too, so it's important to support that community. We support the school systems, we've done their sports systems, we've done Relay for Life, which is against cancer. We've done a lot of little things that keep coming up. We've also done the Ortonville OSEF, which is also their food in Ortonville.
Howdy, partners. We're back. We're back live here at the ONTV studios in beautiful Lake Orion, Michigan. And we have another special guest. This is just kind of one of those days where things pop up and we roll with it. And I think you guys all are familiar with this guy, Mr. Garrett Hoffman. And Garrett, what brings you by today?
Well, you can't have a food drive without your food dude. And so me and my partner, Matt, have brought you a check for $500.
Wow. Thank you. Well, we'll take the check. Thank you. Another $500 towards the total. I don't even know where we're at. Are we at are we at $1 million yet? Are we 6? Come on. 16. We have broken the 16,000 marker, which means we are over 10,000 past our goal. That is incredible. What an awesome effort by the community. Thank you. Thank you to your food dude. Now, you guys are like one of the hottest things around right now in terms of food trucks. I don't even know if people can even book you anymore because you seem so busy all the time. Tell us what's going on with your food dude.
Well, yes, we do get booked pretty fast. We do have some anchor events that we do, like Dragon on a Lake. We do Tough Mudder every year. We do Spartan races. I don't believe they're coming back. They're going Grand Rapids this year, but we normally do them as well. And then any real big event around the area, you will normally see us. We actually, people ask you if you can go in the state of Michigan. Yes, we're licensed for the state of Michigan. We don't have to leave Oakland County because of how busy we get, but we do plenty of space, plenty of bookings. Call now because we're booking fast for graduations, weddings, you name it. You having a party, your food dude's there.
You know, for somebody who's never booked a food truck, because it is becoming extremely popular, but a lot of people probably are intimidated by the idea of, oh, it probably costs a fortune, or it's, you know, you've got to have a huge space, or, I mean, just for your average folks who may be having a big house party and want to do something unique and different, how can they work with the Food Dude for a project or a party?
You can hit us on our social medias, our website. You can call us on the phone number. Really, just reach out to us in any aspect you can, social media, and just tell us we want to know what your event is, what day, how many people. Is it an event that it's individual pay where the customers pay, or if you're looking more of a catering event, we can do it that way. Post-COVID, food trucks have kind of changed because during COVID, what we had to do is go into neighborhoods and whatever we could do to get business and get in front of the customer. But now you're basically back to regular bookings and stuff like that.
Okay, great. All right, so we're gonna finish up. Thank you so much for your support. This is something that you do to go over and above. It's what makes you guys not only a great local business, but a great community partner to all that live here. So thank you for what you do. You guys rock. We appreciate you. And at this point, we're going to throw back to the studio, and I think we've got an exciting presentation with Joe and Jimmy about the history of Lake Orion. So back to the studio.
All right, welcome back to the studio. I am Joe Johnson, and I am joined by my brother from another mother, Jimmy Johnson.
Hello.
And he is the creator of WhereLivingIsAVacation.com, and he has Lake Orion history posts on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Jimmy, welcome back to the studio.
Thanks for having me back.
Now, we talked a couple of weeks ago when we were trying to plan this and trying to come up with an idea of something we want to talk about, and you came up with the idea of focusing on Lake Orion's most famous residents and people who have a Lake Orion connection. And I thought that was a great idea. When you go to Lake Orion's Wikipedia page, there's a list of famous residents from Lake Orion, and it is very impressive, wouldn't you say?
Yes, very impressive.
It's a long list, and it's amazing that a town that's so far north of Detroit, which at one time was considered a resort town, has such a connection to history and famous people. It's really quite amazing.
Yeah, because anybody, it could be from sports figures to important people in history, like Amelia Earhart, Scripps. I mean, it's endless. And the ties, they may not have been born here, but they've passed through town or visited here for business or reasons otherwise.
Yeah.
That you'll go into.
Yeah, exactly. Now, as I was looking at the list, I was trying to come up with what I thought was Lake Orion's most famous resident, and that's kind of hard to do. I do believe I have found Lake Orion's most infamous resident. I don't know if a lot of people realize the connection that Lake Orion has to Jimmy Hoffa. And he was a well-known character around not only Lake Orion, but people all over the world knew Jimmy Hoffa. As a matter of fact, someone in the studio may have met him. Did someone in the studio meet Jimmy Hoffa? There we go. Terry Stiles here in the studio has met Jimmy Hoffa. He was a well-known figure, very popular figure. Yeah. Here's a little history of Jimmy Hoffa. He was born February 14th, 1913 in Brazil, Indiana, and served as the president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters from 1957 to 1971. The Teamsters were founded in 1903 and went from 75,000 members in 1933 to 1 million by 1951, made up mostly of truck drivers and warehouse workers. Hoffa became vice president in 1952 and president of the Teamsters in 1957. Now, he got into a little trouble. In May of 1963, Hoffa was indicted for jury tampering in Tennessee, charged with attempted bribery. He was convicted in 1964 and sentenced to 8 years in prison. While on bail during his appeal, he was convicted in July of 1 count of conspiracy and 3 counts of mail and wire fraud for improper use of the Teamsters Pension Fund. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison and began serving time on March 7, 1967 restaurant in Pennsylvania. He hoped to continue to run the Teamsters from prison through his successor, Frank Fitzsimmons, but Fitzsimmons distanced himself from Hoffa, which did not make Hoffa happy. He ended up resigning his position in 1971. On December 23, 1971, less than 5 years into his 13-year sentence, Hoffa was released when President Nixon commuted his sentence to time served on the condition that he couldn't be involved with any labor organization until 1980. Prior to his well-known disappearance, Hoffa was planning to regain the presidency, but was met with resistance from the Teamsters and the Mafia. On July 30th, 1975, now we have a couple of photos here. If we can bring up these photos that we have, you can find these online if you Google Jimmy Hoffa. That is Hoffa posing at his Lake Orion home. Now, as I was doing research a number of years ago, one of the websites that I found that had these pictures on display, there was a caption that said, "These photos were taken on the day he disappeared," which is pretty interesting. So I don't know if it was a newspaper photographer or who came out to take these photos, but that is James Hoffa at his home in Lake Orion. So on that day, July 30th, 1975, Hoffa was scheduled to meet Anthony Giacalone and Anthony Provenzo at the Marcus Red Fox restaurant in Bloomfield Township at 2 p.m., which is now known as Andiamo restaurant, and it still looks pretty much the same. Hoffa left his Lake Orion home at around 1:15, and between 2:15 and 2:30, Hoffa called his wife from a payphone saying that he was stood up. Witnesses said that two men saw Hoffa in the parking lot and recognized him and approached him and shook his hand, thanking him for his work with the Teamsters. One witness saw Hoffa in the back of a maroon Lincoln or Mercury with 3 other people in the car drive out of the lot. That was the last known sighting of Jimmy Hoffa. At 7 a.m. the next morning, Hoffa's wife, Josephine, called her son and daughter to say their father had never come home. At 7:20, Hoffa's unlocked car was found in the parking lot of the restaurant. At 6 p.m., James Hoffa, his son, filed a missing persons report. Police dogs detected Hoffa's scent in a maroon 1975 Mercury, but as we know, the case was never solved. He was declared legally dead in 1982. Now, in 2013, a story had broken that somebody that was well connected to Hoffa and the Teamsters and all that claimed to have knowledge of where Hoffa was buried, and a dig commenced at Orion and Adams Road. So wanting to witness history, I ran down to that intersection and shot some video. Let's take a look at that clip right now.
On July 30th, 1975, Hoffa left his home in Lake Orion to meet with acquaintances at a restaurant in Bloomfield Township. His wife reported him missing later that evening, and he was never seen again. New information brought law enforcement officers to Oakland Township last week, where a dig took place on land once owned by a former mob boss. Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard held an impromptu press conference on the scene on Tuesday, June 18th.
Not a lot of new information to report, obviously. It's still an ongoing process back there. One of the areas has been completed in terms of it's being checked thoroughly. They're checking another area which is still consistent with the information. One of these areas is consistent with the information. There were some reports out apparently that the dog was in, and we did in fact have a dog in. It moved about the area, but nothing real conclusive. It was in the same areas that one of the original parameters was specifically talking about. They're going to hit those same areas as they would with or without that dog. Obviously there's other things there, given that it's been kind of a rural area for some time. There's animal bones and other things, so it's a process, but it's still continuing. They still, feel good about the information, and they're looking in the second part of the same consistent area, if that makes sense. We'll just have to see if it pans out, but we have to give it a good faith attempt. If it can bring closure, that's what we hope for. That we'd like this to be closure for the community, for the family, and for all involved.
After 3 days of digging, the search was called off after no sign of Hoffa turned up. The tipster, Tony Zarelli, expressed his disappointment and still insists Hoffa's remains are somewhere on the property. We can only wait and see if the search will continue at some later date.
Of course, that was a dead end. We still have not found Hoffa's body. Now, you saw an image of Hoffa's house here in Lake Orion at the beginning of that piece. Here's an interesting little story that I learned when I was doing research. I found, I think it was a Free Press article that was published the day after Hoffa disappeared. And they went into that neighborhood and was talking to his neighbors and, what kind of person was Hoffa? And they were, we loved him. They said, as a matter of fact, when they complained about speeders on their road, Hoffa picked up the phone, brought out a crew who installed speed bumps on the road up to that neighborhood. Those speed bumps are still there today. They're like these X-shaped speed bumps. And I remember driving on the road, and my car was all over the place. Those are Jimmy Hoffa speed bumps leading up to his home. Yep. Interesting little tidbit.
Yeah, taking care of business.
So, like I said, that is one of Lake Orion's more infamous residents, and a pretty fascinating story there. The next person I have, let's see, we're going to jump ahead to Mickey Lolich. Mickey Lolich was a well-loved and popular figure here in Lake Orion, who had a donut shop here in Lake Orion, but he was much more than a donut shop owner. As I researched Mickey Lolich, I found some very interesting things. He was born September 12, 1940 in Portland, Oregon. He was signed by the Detroit Tigers as an amateur free agent at the age of 17 in 1958. He made his Major League debut in May 12, 1963, and got his first win as a pitcher on May 28th. He pitched his first shutout against the Twins on April 24, 1964, and finished with 6 shutouts that season. In 1968, the Tigers reached the World Series against St. Louis. He pitched in Game 2 and hit his only homer of his 16-year career for an 8-1 win. I found that home run on YouTube. Let's take a look at it right now.
There's a long fly ball. Way back, it might be out of here. Home run! Holy cow! How about that one? Mickey Lolich, with one of the lowest lifetime batting averages in Major League history, has just hit one out of the ballpark. When he got to first base, it looked like he couldn't believe it was going to come back to the plate.
Watch this in this dugout now.
look at the grin. That's what makes baseball the fascinating, unpredictable game it is. You never know from what source. There's Denny McLean. He can't believe it.
What a great moment. That's really cool to see his name on the screen there. The Tigers lost the next 2 to fall behind 3-1. He pitched in Game 5 and won that game. On just 2 days rest, having pitched 2 complete games, 9 innings, he pitched in Game 7, and the Tigers clinched the series with a 4-1 win. Detroit was the 3rd team in World Series history to come back from a 3-1 deficit. Here is the final out of that 7-game series.
McComber pops up. Here's Freehan. Detroit's the new world champion. And look at Freehan picking up Lolich. And there is a scene that has been repeated many times in World Series history. It's a happy bunch of Tigers. They have beaten the Cardinals 4-1, and they have replaced them as the champions of baseball.
And they made some comeback. They were trailing 3-1. They were behind 3 runs in the first inning of Game 5. They came back to win They walked in here and murdered the Cardinals yesterday. They win again today, and 28-year-old Mickey Lolich now has joined Christy Mathewson, Jack Coombs, Babe Adams, Stan Kovaleski, Harry Burkeen, Lou Burdett, and Bob Gibson as pitchers who have won 3 games and lost none in the World Series. And Lolich did it with 2 days rest and beat Bob Gibson to do it. Some feat.
Well, there's the Tiger Clubhouse. The final score, Detroit 4, St. Louis 1.
What about, you had a little conference on the mound right at the end. Did Mayo come out and ask you if you had enough gas left to go or what?
No, he says he just wanted to slow me down. He says he thought maybe I was getting too excited out there about, having it so close to coming to the end. He says, I want you to take it easy, relax, and throw like you've been throwing all day.
All right. Well, thank you, Mickey. It was a great performance, and have a very nice, quiet winter.
Have a quiet winter. The great Ernie Harwell talking to Mickey Lolich. I met Ernie Harwell years ago, and he sent me a Christmas card, which I still have.
Oh,
It's
wow.
pretty cool. So, great moment. Here's some interesting facts about that particular series. Lolich was the 12th pitcher in baseball history to win 3 games in a single World Series, and the last to pitch 3 complete games in one series. 3 9-inning games pitched in one World Series has never happened since. The only left-handed pitcher with 3 complete game wins in a series. No other pitcher has thrown 3 complete game wins in a series since, and he won the MVP award for that series. Pretty
Well, there's
awesome.
one important stat. The most important stat is that he made 10,000 donuts.
That's right. We'll talk about donuts in a second. Lolich pitched in his final game on September 23rd, 1979, at the age of 39 with the Padres. Now, he had invested in a donut business, which originally was in Rochester, I believe, but he had a falling out with his co-owner and bought the business out. He moved that donut shop out here to Lake Orion. Yeah. And was a very popular character, and people loved going to his donut shop. I believe it was on M24.
Right.
What's there now? The taco? Snap Taco is
spot.
standing where Mickey Lolich Donuts used to be. But yeah, how cool is that? A guy with that kind of baseball history who almost single-handedly won the World Series in 1968. Served customers donuts here in Lake Orion. Is that a fantastic story or what?
It's a fantastic story, and with having his children there working at the shop as well, they would work the front, and then he'd be in the back making the donuts, and everybody would stop by and be like, "Where's Mickey? Where's Mickey?"
Right. I think I read that he would sign donut boxes, so there's probably some signed donut boxes out there. Unfortunately, he ended up selling the business in the late 90s and retired, but from what I understand, he's still up and about. He's still out there. So yeah, that's really, really awesome. He was never inducted into the Hall of Fame, but he was inducted into the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame in 1982. So again, one of Lake Orion's most famous residents. We're going to do one more person before we throw it over to LOAM over at the high school. I want to talk about Cynthia Watros. Her parents are Bruce and Nancy Watros. I want to brag that I know her uncle Bob, who is the caretaker at the Orion Veterans Memorial and one of the nicest guys you will ever meet, and his wife Tony. She graduated from LOHS in 1986, took an acting class in high school, but she said she blew it off. She benefited under the tutelage of Dr. Nancy Arnfield at Macomb Community College. And an interesting connection that I have there, Dr. Nancy Arnfield was my acting teacher at Macomb Community College. I was in a play called Auntie Mame. So we have that connection. Her and I had the same acting professor. She then went off to Boston University School for the Arts, where she won a $15,000 award, which she used to move to New York City. She ended up getting cast on Guiding Light as Annie Dutton, who, from what I've seen, was a crazy character. And in her very first nomination, she won the Daytime Emmy in 1998 for that role on the CBS soap opera Guiding Light. An interesting little side note, she beat Susan Lucci, who had a record for most losses at the Daytime Emmys. We have a clip of Cynthia's win right here.
Cynthia Watros.
You were there all along. You didn't give us a chance, did you? You
The Emmy goes to Cynthia Watros, Guiding Light.
This is Cynthia Watros' first win and first nomination for Outstanding Lead Actress for her role as Annie Dutton-Lewis on Guiding Light, a role she began in 1994.
Thank you. My husband told me that I should think of his speech, but I really didn't think I was going to win, so I have to say that I want to thank the wonderful women who were in my category. They're also wonderfully talented. Kim Zimmer, I love you, and I always have and always will. And I have to thank Guiding Light, everybody in my Guiding Light family. I miss you all very much. And Robert Newman and Ron Raines, thank you for putting up with me. I have to thank my family. Al and Rita, they taped all my shows, and my father who's here, and my mom at home, and my brother. Thank you very much for this, and thank you.
Imagine her Lake Orion friends and family watching that moment at the Daytime Emmys. What a great moment. Yeah. She went on to have an incredible career in Hollywood. She portrayed Erin Fitzpatrick on the TV show Titus from 2000 to 2002. Played Kelly Newmark on the Drew Carey Show from 2002 to 2004. Was cast as Libby on Lost 2005-2006. She was one of the tailies who somehow survived the plane crash in the tail section of the plane on Lost. And she joined the cast of General Hospital in 2019 as Nina Reeves, where she continues to act on that series today. Here's a short clip from General Hospital.
Oh, got it. Oh, wait, just a second. I'm sorry. I've been waiting for this. Yes! What happened?
Whose body has been found?
The new numbers for the Ava Jerome article just came in. Sales have exceeded our expectations already, but now we are annihilating them. Darling, I think we should celebrate. Let's bring up the best bottle of champagne from the cellar. I want Hayden and Jax to choke on it tonight when I break the news to them at dinner.
Hayden? Here? Tonight?
Oh, that's right. You guys hate each other, and you accused her of almost killing you. Well, I am sorry, Aunt Liesel. This is a super important business dinner.
I would rather eat with the horses and Hayden buns.
Okay, great. Just don't set fire to the stables this time. Okay, I'm gonna check on dinner.
So her list of credits includes, get this, Law and Order, Gossip Girl, CSI, Criminal Minds, House, Desperate Housewives, Grey's Anatomy, and a whole lot more. Check out her IMDb page. It is loaded. It blows my mind that someone with roots here in Lake Orion can go out to Hollywood and assemble such an impressive list of credits on television. Have you ever crossed paths with Cynthia at all?
Never crossed paths with her, but I mean, just seeing everything that she's been in, it's the extreme talent that she has.
All right.
It's great.
Well, that's going to wrap up this segment. We'll be back in a little bit with more. For now, we're going to throw it over to LOAM over at the high school.
Coming up on today's LOAM, information on how to win a scholarship,
the athletic signing,
and figure skating. Roll that intro.
Good afternoon, Lake Orion. Today is February 9th, 2024. I'm Liam Hall.
And I'm Luke Hughes. This is LOAM. The Lake Orion High School's future college-age athletes signed their letters of commitment on Wednesday morning.
On Wednesday, various athletes from different sports around the high school were signed into their colleges of choice. The signing took place in the auditorium before school. These signings include WDBC's own Tyler Ratliff to Hope College, Luke Gannon to Lawrence Tech, and Raymond Payne to Wayne State. They and 8 other athletes will go on to play their sport at the next level at their respective schools.
To be a part of Lake Orion sports is big because there's a lot of people that follow the sports, pretty much every sport. You get people from the community talking about it, and if you grow up here, sports are always a big part of your life, so having a bunch of people to back you up in those sports it's really nice.
It means a lot because I'm part of football, basketball, like unified basketball and lacrosse, so I get to see everything and I see the community coming out to support, and it's nice to see everybody just supporting us. I started playing football when I was a little tiny kid, and then Mr. Gannon, who's a safe vet at our school, he convinced me to start playing lacrosse in 5th grade, so he kind of brought me into lacrosse, and then I've just been athletic and playing ever since, and it's been my dream to play D1, and I made it.
For WDBC, I'm Lily Hansen.
Congratulations to the student athletes who will continue their education and athletic pursuits at their respective colleges and universities.
This Sunday marks the airing of the most watched event in all of America. The Super Bowl is here. Kansas City faces San Francisco on Sunday night. That all being said, it is also a well-known fact that students love to skip school the day after the game. Here's a dive into how people around our school feel. Should they go to school? Maybe the day after can simply just be a day off. Or should the Super Bowl actually move to Saturday? Let's take a look.
After the Super Bowl, students tend to show up late to school or not come to school because they're tired because they stayed up and watched an exciting game. Attendance is important. You should come to school. You don't want to miss anything important. Teachers may not plan a lot that day, but they might. You never know. I think Super Bowl would be amazing on a Saturday night. People wouldn't be trying to get to work or take off work or school the next day when it was Monday. I think it'd be a lot better for everyone.
They don't come to school after the Super Bowl because, it's late at night, everyone's staying up watching, people out partying, having fun, and just we don't want to go from all the excitement back to school. We need to just ease it back in on Tuesday. I think it should be Super Bowl Sunday, not Saturday, because it's always Sunday night football. It's been that since day one. It's always more fun. If you're religious, you go to church, come back, ready for it, get in the game. No, Saturday is just normal Saturday. You want it on a Sunday. I think so, because why is it fair that this year, Kansas City or 49ers, if one of them wins, that whole state no school, And like I said, everyone's partying, going out. We need a break. Give us make it a holiday. National No School Super Bowl Monday,
Well, if I'm going to keep it a buck with you, I don't think anyone's going to even watch the Super Bowl because we all wanted the Lions to go. But, I don't think we should have school the next day because I don't think we should go to school.
Are you looking for some future college money? Well, you're in luck because Lake Orion Schools is holding an SA competition for every grade that just might earn you some extra cash.
So it's a 2024 career writing essay, and it's a contest where Oakland Schools is putting it forward. So that it's the Career and Readiness Department, and you're to write an essay so that you can be graded on it and marked, and it's from all the way from 3rd grade up to 12th grade. So I'll just focus on what we're doing here at the high school. There's a first place prize of $150, second and third place prizes as well. Second place is $100, and third place is $50. And it's to promote awareness, exploration, kind of in the preparation and the association of all of the 5 career pathways. First and foremost is because they can get some extra money, so they can earn some tuition assistance there. So, $150 goes a long way. You can buy some books, you can put that towards tuition, whatever you need. And then it's also a good thing because we really want the kids to have the ability to put their word out there, get to know what the industries are in the area are all about, hoping that once the kids are finished going to university and colleges and our trade schools, they'll come back to the neighborhood that they grew up in and start a workforce. And also, there's the entry deadline, which is Friday, April 5th by 5 p.m. So please make sure that you get in by then. And then I have a link. I can email it to you, or it's going to be on the bulletin board as well, so that you can get that essay in.
For the guidelines and rubric, be sure to visit the Lake Orion High School homepage under the weekly newsletter section. If you have any questions, you can email Miss Hall at tara.hall@lok12.org or stop by the Career Center and see her in person.
When's the last time you've heard about Cooking Club? Cooking Club is still ongoing, taking place the second Thursday of the month with a small fee of $5. For those who need a reminder, Cooking Club is a place where you band together with your friends and compete on who can make the best dish of the day. So far, they've made gingerbread houses, pasta, and most recently cake pops. Once every group is finished, it is determined who the winner of the month is. Their next meeting takes place on March 14th in room D402 from 2:45 to 4 p.m. For more information, follow their Instagram page at cookingclub_LO. So, before we go to sports, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Who are you rooting for, Luke?
You know, Liam, I'm not really a sports person myself, but what about you?
Neither am I. I'm just sad the Lions didn't make it this year.
Well, we'll get it next year, hopefully.
Well, neither of us know much about sports, but I know an expert. Ryan Bunn, take it away.
Thank you, gentlemen. We got 2 great teams, but I've learned never bet against Patrick Mahomes. Anyways, on today's sports report, we've just got figure skating. Stay tuned.
Yo, get the speaker box loud, hitting that stuff till you hearing that sound.
The Lake Orion High School figure skating team, which is a part of Rochester United, competed at the Lindell Ice Arena in Royal Oak on Wednesday. A spot for the state championship was up for grabs. Lily Hansen has all the details.
The Lake Orion figure skating team took to the ice on Wednesday at the John Lindell Skating Rink in Royal Oak. This event was not only senior night for the seniors on the team, Caitlin Ballant, Shauna Bites, and Rachel Bites, but it was also the meet that would qualify them for the state championships. Team A competed in 3 different elements of skating. Josh Snyder from Team A received perfect scores in the high jumps category and the high spins category, allowing a win to those respective categories.
I'm feeling good. I'm glad I landed everything and did really well on the spin. I feel like some things they could have been a little bit better, but I'm definitely proud of how I did. I think we all did well in everything we did. There's definitely some things we could improve on, but we definitely did our best.
Caitlin Ballant almost scored perfectly in the high moves category, coming in just behind their competitors from Christian Combined. Overall, the judges highly ranked Team A's performance, allowing them to advance to states and claim the win over their opponents in this meet. The team will head to states, which will be held at Southgate Ice Arena on March 9th and 10th.
Last year wasn't the greatest, but I think this year we're definitely going to pull through and become state champions again.
For WDBC, I'm Lily Hansen.
Congratulations to our Lake Orion skaters for winning the competition, and good luck to them as they progress to states. The state finals are on Sunday, March 10th in Southgate. That's it for today's Hello Sports Report. Now we send it back to the desk for WDBC. I'm Ryan Bunn.
It's February, which means it's Black History Month. We've themed this next segment of LOIQ to celebrate.
Welcome back to LOIQ, Lake Orion High School's very own trivia game show, featuring contestants from around the school. Today's contestant is junior Stephen Butcher. Stephen, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling like $1 million.
Amazing. A quick refresher on how this works. If you get one question correct, you receive a free drink or snack from the Rita Latte Cafe. Get 2 questions correct and you receive a free popcorn or cookie from the school store. Get 3 questions correct and receive a free pizza from Chicago Brothers Pizza. In honor of February being Black History Month, that is going to be the theme of the questions. Steven, are you ready to play?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's get started. First question. Which president officially changed Black History Week into Black History Month? Was it A, John F. Kennedy, B, Gerald Ford, C, George H.W. Bush, or D, James Carter?
Shoot. The person I was thinking of is not on here, so I guess D, James Carter.
That is incorrect. It was Gerald Ford who extended Black History Week to a full month during America's bicentennial celebration in 1976. Next question. What year was Juneteenth commemorated as a federal holiday? Was it A, 1993, B, 2006, C, 2018, or D, 2021?
2018 was a solid year, so I want to pick 2018.
That is incorrect. President Joe Biden declared Juneteenth as a federal holiday in 2021. It is celebrated every year on June 19th, and it is the day legalized slavery ended in Texas in 1865. Final question. Which state was the first to ban slavery in 1777? Was it A, Vermont, B, Michigan, C, New Hampshire, or D, New York?
New York.
That is not correct. The correct answer was Vermont, who was the first to ban slavery on July 2nd, 1777. Its legislature also secured voting rights for African American men that year. All right, Stephen, you got no questions correct, which unfortunately means you don't win anything this time. But would you like to give anyone a shout out?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Kalinsky in my 4th hour class with my boy Mikey, Sam, Charlie, and I want to give a shout out to Miss Reese and Miss Hutch, and a shout out to Mr. Delzer, and a shout out to Mr. Booker.
Amazing. If you'd like to be a contestant on LOIQ Next, scan the QR code outside of room D351. For WDBC, I'm Grace Boneman.
Your seniors of the day are
Andrea Baginski,
Gino Bauman,
Israel Cameron,
Jack Kroll,
and Parker Horton. Make sure to tune in next week for an award granted to Mr. Remy,
a recap on this week's Once tables,
and an investigation into the birds inside the building.
Have a Feral Friday, LO.
I'm Terry Stiles. I'm the station manager for Oxford Community Television. You are on the 5th day, the last day of the 14th year for the Oxford Orion Fish Food Drive, and I booted Ian out of here so I could hang out with Matt because they had a lot of fun on the first hour. Wow.
It's an honor to be here with such a talent, a well-known, TV personality here in the community.
I've been around for a while.
Yeah. Well, yes. At any rate, thanks for joining us today, and it's really cool. I love the partnership that Oxford and Orion have today, stronger, I think, than ever.
Yeah,
we talked a little bit about that off air, and I think it's a beautiful thing, to be Oxford Orion strong.
I agree with you. And speaking of partnerships, the sponsorships that have come in just even in the last day or so is incredible. The sponsors in this area are amazing. What they're doing for Orion Oxford Fish and the stuff that they need. Speaking of sponsors,
Wait a minute, who's that back there?
Look at that.
Is that Jenny Body? Jenny, what are you doing here? What's shaking, bacon? Oh wait,
Gee, we just happened to be talking about.
How about that? That might
Look at
help.
how handy.
Would you look at that?
Well,
It's
thanks
almost
for
like I
letting
knew
me,
you were coming.
Thanks for letting me crash your segment here. I appreciate it.
No, it's my honor. I'm just it's so exciting to have the great Jenny Body. I mean, you're the communications expert of Orion. I mean, I don't think anything comes in or out of Orion without Body knowing.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
No, we appreciate you.
And well done.
I am actually here because I was talking to a friend about food insecurity, and they didn't realize how prevalent it was out here in Orion and Oxford and northern Oakland County. And they felt really moved and compelled to donate. So Evolution Raceworks donated $200 to the food drive. So I wanted to bring that up here to you guys.
That's so cool. Well, you've been popping in all week with little
have
surprises and doing your little video things, and but $200, that
$200.
goes so far. So first of all, I'm sorry, who's that from again?
Evolution Raceworks.
Evolution Raceworks. They are a great company that I've never heard of before. But
you will, though. You will.
Yeah, they're going places. But to see anybody moved to the cause. The cause of making sure that nobody is food challenged in our community is such a wonderful endeavor, and so thank you to the great company Evolution Raceworks.
Yep.
It's been I remember when I was a kid watching the Evolution Raceworks commercials, and I'm just kidding. I have no idea what they do or who they are, but it looks like they work and they race. They're fast.
Runs and some races locally starting here this year.
Oh, that really is what they do?
Yep, that is what they do.
Wow, look at that. Look at that. All right.
Yeah, not too bad. All right, well, I'll get out of your way and let you guys do what you're doing up here,
Oh,
crushing it.
Jenny,
All
you
right,
know what?
guys.
Every time you visit, it makes a more exciting broadcast. It's more exciting. The community expects to see you, and you are just a true gift to Orion Township. So
Man,
thank you.
I got to keep him around more often. I mean, this is kind of nice here. Maybe I won't leave.
You don't have to leave.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Hey, wait. Bring that back.
Oh, you want the mic?
Wait, we want the check.
Oh, I was going to give it to Ian.
No.
I thought he gets the check.
No, I've got it. Don't you worry.
All right, here's your mic.
All right. Thank you very much.
So it takes people like that somebody maybe you've never heard of, even though you're in this area and have been in this area for a long time. It's the little ideas too that people they're just talking to Jenny about food insecurity. Oh geez, maybe I should donate, which, speaking of donate, if you want to do that, you still can on the website, the Orion neighborhood, I got to get that website right. I had it down pat the other day. Go to ONTV.org, and then you can click on the GoFundMe page. There is a cost involved with that, so if you want to run down here, you still have time to get here today to bring a check.
We can bring cash, check.
You'll take it, right?
Yeah, we'll take it. And of course, we're still collecting food. The van is only 3/4 of the way full, and that food is going tonight to Orion Oxford Fish. Talk about fast turn, right? What I love about this effort, and really any effort like it, is there's no money being skimmed off the top. Everybody's a volunteer. I mean, you're not getting paid. If you are, I want in. I'm not getting paid, and we don't want to get paid. What we want to do is try and make a difference. And so if you bring money or you bring food, that food's going to be in that pantry tomorrow. How cool is that? So grab your food, come on down. We're looking for, the basics. We don't want expired stuff. We don't want damaged stuff. Don't bring us stuff that you wouldn't want to eat. But canned fruits are great. Your pineapple, your oranges, the meats, the proteins. Canned tuna, chicken, your chilies, your
staples.
What do you call the staples? The ketchup, the mustard.
Products.
What do we call those? They're called the condiments. The condiments.
Yeah.
We need condiments. And if you're out buying food, you might be getting the hamburger and the bun, but you might say, God, can we really afford the ketchup and the mustard? Might not seem like a big deal. It's a big deal. And don't forget those personal care items, maybe feminine products, toothpaste, toothbrushes. All of this goes to help folks in our area that are in need. And so you can call the phone number on the screen, which is 248-628-3933. You can drop off here at the ONTV studios or at Northern Flooring up on Indianwood and 24. You can donate directly on the website at oxfordorionfish.org. So there are a lot of ways that you can donate and to make a difference, to make sure that folks are fed that need it.
And if people can't get here with the cans of food by the end of the day today, You always accept food, right?
Yep.
At any
24
time
hours,
of the year.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 118 Indian Wood Road at the Northern Wholesale Flooring Floor Trader office. You can drop it off anytime.
And here at the studios, which is 1349 Joslin Road, which is Orion Neighborhood Television Studios, you can always ask them if you want to know where to take food. Also, you mentioned one thing. If you're out grocery shopping and you're going to buy ketchup and mustard, why not buy one extra? You can always drop it off at Orion Oxford Fish too, and they're right on M24, just south of Drainer Road on the west-hand side of the road. Easy to get to, just be careful when you turn left if you're coming from Oxford. And then you could always drop it off at our studio as well, and we're located at 2795 Seymour Lake Road in Oxford. Or you can call us if you want to find out where you need to. You can call us at 248-628-9658. We have something else going on. We have to get out of this segment.
Oh no, I don't like getting out of segments. Hey, before we go to the sponsor, before we go to the sponsor videos, which we're going there. Yeah, we're going there, guys. But for those of you, I've said this a lot, but you guys, this is a live video. People are in and out. If you are wondering why, or why is this a need, you guys look at your neighbors. Everybody lives in beautiful homes, driving fancy cars. There are people right here in our community that are food challenged on a daily basis. And imagine being a parent of a child that you don't have enough food for. So that's why we do this. That's why your donations and your getting involved in this matters. So it might not seem like a lot. It makes a big difference, and it is a need right now. Inflation has affected things dramatically.
Just helping so much.
Yep. If you're a business, sponsor. Give us a check. If you're an individual, check your pantry. Get a few items, bring them, or grab a couple extra items when you're shopping. Or, again, we can take cash. But it's a very, very important cause. That being said,
there's a good sponsorship video coming up.
Sponsorship videos, and those are the wonderful folks that step up every year to help. So let's see those sponsorship videos, shall we?
All of us at ONTV would like to thank our corporate sponsors for their generous donations. Today's portion of the 2024 ONTV Food Drive is brought to you by Madison Heights Plumbing and Heating Supply, located at 719 East Mandolin Avenue in Madison Heights. The family-owned business has been serving the Detroit metro area for over 30 years. Madison Heights Plumbing and Heating Supply is supporting the food drive for a second year and is a 5-day sponsor. In addition to the ONTV Food Drive, they proudly support other charitable events and organizations, such as Toys for Tots, Bottomless Chest, and St. Jude's Children's Hospital. For more information, give them a call at 248-588-4690 or visit their website, MadisonHeightsPlumbingSupply.com. Northern Wholesale Flooring, located at 118 Indian Wood Road in Lake Orion. Northern Wholesale Flooring has been an active member of the community for over 38 years. They are a returning partner of the ONTV Food Drive and are a 5-day sponsor. For more information, you can visit their website, nflooring.com. Ohana Wealth Advisory. This is Ohana Wealth Advisory's second year supporting the food drive, and they are a 5-day sponsor. For more information, you can give them a call at 248-246-8080. Kroger, located at 3097 South Baldwin Road in Orion Township. This year, Kroger is a 5-day sponsor, thanks to a generous $500 donation to the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. For more information about Kroger, visit their website, kroger.com, or give them a call at 248-393-0765. Meyer of Lake Orion, located at 1107 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Meyer is a year-round supporter of the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry, collecting food pantry donations through their Simply Give program. They are a 5-day sponsor of the ONTV Food Drive with a charitable $500 contribution. For more information, visit their website, Meijer.com. M3 Investments, located at 990 North Main Street in Royal Oak. Having a plan that is designed around your goals and financial situation can help you successfully navigate the risks you are likely to face. Whether you're just starting out, thinking about retirement, or just retired, Christine can help. For more information about M3 Investments, you can give them a call at 248-543-3400. Galling Buick GMC, located at 1491 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Galling is a longtime supporter of the food drive, returning this year as a 5-day sponsor. For more information, you can visit their website at GallingBuickGMC.com. Provider Claims Management, located at 30 South Street, Suite 300 in Ortonville. Provider Claims Management is a first-time sponsor of the ONTV Food Drive, donating $200 to our final goal. For more information, you can give them a call at 248-627-8881. You can also check out their Facebook page. And Haney Farm Bureau Insurance, located at 18 South Broadway Street, Suite 100 in Lake Orion. Haney Farm Bureau is a first-time supporter of the ONTV Food Drive. They donated $200 to the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. For more information, you can give them a call at 248-464-5219 or visit their website, mishfb.com.
Farm Bureau has been in the Orion area for years. My particular office was fortunate to come into downtown 6 years ago now, and we have been here ever since and love being part of downtown Orion and part of Orion Township.
1, 2, 3.
We were very fortunate to have people from the downtown area, from our local Rotary Club, from the chamber, actually from 2 chambers, ours and Rochester, all assembled, plus family and friends to support our new adventure here in downtown.
What do you do to thank this community for supporting you?
I love that question because when I decided to become a business owner, I told my wife and then every team member who has ever joined into our group that we are about giving back, and that if we did nothing else, that it was part of the mission and the culture and the DNA of our agency, that we are going to become embedded in our community and in return back to the community. And Farm Bureau makes it easy because Farm Bureau actually, that's a stated requirement essentially of agents who they recruit. So Farm Bureau is, I think, incredibly distinctive in that regard, that when they're recruiting people to be insurance advisors, they're not just looking for folks who know about insurance, but they're looking for folks who have a passion about giving back to their community. So that is one of the ways that Farm Bureau was able to recruit me to be an agent, frankly. And so with Fish, it's an easy decision for me. They have been part of this community for much longer than I've been here, and everyone seems to know about Fish. And I love, they have a very clear process about identifying people who need help, reaching out to people. People know who they are, people know where they are. They make it easy to support them, easy to donate, and they just have a very well-organized, well-oiled machine there. So it's a true pleasure and an honor to be supportive of the work of Orion Fish and give back to our community. If I put one of my other hats on and think about the work with our local Rotary group, our signature local project is Beds for Kids. And that was an eye-opener for me years ago to discover that we have children in Orion who do not have a bed to sleep on. And so we keep in stock 2 beds at any given time. And as soon as we find out that there's a need, those beds find a home and then we replace them. And so because of Rotary, I became aware that we do have a lot of wealth. We are very blessed, but people are people, and people have needs, and those needs are here, and you really don't have to scratch that far below the surface to find that, you know, our family, friends, and neighbors are often people who we need to be caring for and reaching out to. So Rotary does that, Fish does that, and I think Oakland County should be and is sensitive to the fact that we have neighbors who need our help.
Thanks to Wayne Haney and all of our sponsors who helped us blow past our goal this year. It's very much appreciated. Today on the ONTV Food Drive is History Day. We have some special programming airing throughout the day, and we're back here live in the studio to continue our segment on Lake Orion's most famous residents. I'm Joe Johnson, joined by Jimmy Johnson, who created WhereLivingIsAVacation.com, and you're active with the Orion Historical Society, so you know a little bit about Lake Orion history, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. Just started with researching one subject, and actually, Mickey Lolich. That's what started me on the whole path. And who else from this area is famous or has ties? So
yeah, it's a pretty impressive list. And we talked about Mickey in the first segment, and I said, you know, when you look at the list of people connected to Lake Orion, it's hard to determine who is the most famous Lake Orion resident. Now, we're going to pick up where we left off. The next name that I have wasn't necessarily a Lake Orion resident, but he was well known in Lake Orion, in and around Lake Orion. He eventually became an Oxford resident. But he is arguably the most famous person on this list. He was known across the country and in some parts of the world. Brace Beamer was the radio voice of the Lone Ranger. Here's a little clip from the Lone Ranger radio program.
Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! There's danger on the trail ahead! I'll Silver! Away!
Leaning low over their horses' necks, the masked man and his Indian friend raced for the prairie. The powerful strides of Silver and Scout soon outdistanced any thought of pursuit for the sheriff and his men, and they fired wildly into the night after the fast disappearing figures. As soon as he was sure they were safe, the Lone Ranger signaled to stop and reined in his white stallion near a clump of trees. Quickly, Tonto followed suit.
We can stay here for the night, Tonto. They'll never find us if we don't use a campfire.
That's right, but why we stay here?
We can't go far without supplies.
We not get supplies from store. We go back there, sheriff grab us.
Do you want to leave here with the law considering us thieves?
No.
Well, if we find the crooks, we'll clear our names. And Tonto, those crooks are up to something big.
What you mean?
Yeah, well, if it's cash they were after, they could have had it.
That's right.
The cash and the more valuable things in the store hadn't been touched. They didn't even steal the high-priced guns and pistols.
And steal Indian beads and other things Indians like.
Yes.
Thieves not Indian. You hear fella talk.
You're right. Those men were not Indians. But they're going to deal with Indians. I want to know what they're up to.
What a voice. The Lone Ranger was created by George Trendle, who at the time was the manager of WXYZ Radio in Detroit, and writer Fran Stryker. The first episode aired on January 31st, 1933 on WXYZ. It's amazing to think that a program originating out of Detroit was known across the country. By 1939, 20 million Americans were listening to the Lone Ranger on the radio. Pretty impressive. Now, Brace was not the first voice of the Lone Ranger. From 1933 to 1941, Earl Grosser was the voice of the Lone Ranger, while 6'3" Brace Beamer made public appearances because he looked the part and he would wear the costume. Unfortunately, Grosser was killed in an auto accident on April 8th in Farmington, Michigan, who had possibly fallen asleep at the wheel after doing 3 live performances back to back to back, and may have fallen asleep at the wheel of his car. They had to continue to do live episodes without him, pretending that he was off running errands someplace. And it was Brace Beamer who then stepped in to become the third voice of the Lone Ranger. Now, sadly, Earl Grosser's performances, most of them weren't recorded. But when you hear, "Hi-yo, Silver, away," that more than likely is Earl Grosser delivering that line. So Beamer became the Lone Ranger on April 18th, 1941, and continued through September 3rd, 1954. He was required by contract that while performing as the Lone Ranger, he couldn't do anything else. He was only the Lone Ranger until the program went off the air. He originally lived in Detroit before moving to Oxford Township in 1942, where he raised horses on his 300-acre farm, his ranch, Paint Creek Acres. Now, don't get Brace Beamer confused with Clayton Moore, who took over the role for television in 1949. But Beamer's portrayal of Lone Ranger was so huge, so popular, that Clayton Moore had to impersonate Brace Beamer. So when you hear his voice in that radio clip, it sounds a lot like Clayton Moore on the TV show. So Beamer's last television appearance was an interview with Bill Kennedy on Bill Kennedy's Showtime on CKLW TV9 out of Windsor. Beamer died the very next day after his final television appearance. He died on March 1st, 1965, and is buried in the Whitechapel Cemetery in Troy, Michigan. Now, back in 2013, Oxford wanted to celebrate the fact that Oxford is the home of the Lone Ranger, and they rolled out a festival to celebrate Brace Beamer and the Lone Ranger. Let's take a look at this news story from 2013.
The community of Oxford gathered today to celebrate their most famous resident, Brace Beamer, the voice of the radio Lone Ranger. The event had many activities that encouraged visitors to celebrate the thrilling days of yesteryear. Hundreds of people came to downtown Oxford in memory of Brace Beamer. With a parade, a museum exhibit, as well as a business expo and craft fair, fun was in big supply for participants. Organizers were filled with good things to say about the event.
We've been working on this for a few months, and that is a very positive thing because many times you do an event like this, it takes over a year in planning. We literally put this together in about 4.5 months with a budget of about $3,000. And I think it was quite successful. I think both communities really enjoyed it today, and of course the good weather added a lot to it as well.
We're really happy to have the first annual, hopefully annual, Lone Ranger Parade. A big display at the museum I encourage everybody to look at. And then the rest is there's a business expo across the street for small businesses. And down here there's more businesses and shops and crafts. So it's a big, huge event and something to put on the calendar for next year.
One large part of the festival was the Lone Ranger exhibit displayed in the Northeast Oakland Historical Museum.
We're lucky to get a collection from a resident that had a huge collection of Lone Ranger material, and he loaned it to us, so we've got like 3 cabinets full of his collection, and we have one of our own that's been here permanently. So we put that on, and we put people outside here to help get us some more membership and get donations for the Brace Beamer statue, which we hope to build in Centennial Park.
Well, as far as in the museum, it evokes a lot of memories in people, and when they come in and they start looking at some of the stuff we have, they go, oh, I remember that, or Grandma had that, and then that leads on to a story, and it's just a lot of sharing of memories, which I love to do with people.
Dale Lopez, a huge contributor to the display, was filled with stories of his childhood hero, Brace Beamer and the Lone Ranger.
I've been collecting this since I was a little boy in the 40s, starting out by sending box tops out with a 10-cent or 15-cent Scotch tape to it to get one of these many premiums, like specialty rings, silver bullets, buttons, and other kinds of premiums as are on display here. So that started out in the 40s when I listened to Brace Beamer. I was probably about 7 years old when I first became interested in the Lone Ranger, and I never missed him at 7:30 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings. This man was an icon. Radio was in its infancy. He began as a wholesome individual, clean cut, never swore, used perfect English, never shot to kill. He was a hero to Americans, not just the children, but America was in the depths of the Great Depression, and they needed a hero. Hearing about gangsterism of the 30s and the early 40s, this was the guy that wore the white hat.
A special guest made an appearance at the museum. Bob Daniels, Brace Beamer's grandson, spent time talking to visitors about memories of his grandfather.
I was 14 when he passed away, so I remember him really well. You know, it's a funny thing that really, I didn't get that he was the Lone Ranger really until I was about 9 years old when he did an appearance at a boys' camp. The reaction people tended to have around him was one of, this man just entered the room if it was indoors, and he just filled up the room. He was 6'3½", weighed 200 pounds. He had that huge booming voice, and when he walked in the room, you knew he was there. And kids just immediately were mesmerized and attentive, and he could have asked them to rub their bellies and pat their heads 3 times, and they'd have done it that fast.
When I was growing up, my dad knew Brace, and he would take us out to the farm, and Brace always, when there was people around, he'd dress up like the Lone Ranger, and he'd hand out the silver bullets, and we always had carrots to feed Silver. But my biggest memory of Brace is he was a very commanding person, and when you're a little guy and you look at this 6'4" person with this booming voice, it's just, you're awestruck. He's a very friendly person and did a lot in the community.
Brace Beamer lived in Oxford on Drainer Road. Many visitors stopped by his old home, including Shirley Ann Maylock. She was a child voice actor for the radio show. Not only did she work with Brace Beamer, she also worked with his predecessor, who died in an auto accident. Looking back, she can remember Brace Beamer's first show as the Lone Ranger.
But I was on the program that Brace first did after Earl Grosser was killed in an auto accident, and it was very nerve-wracking for him and for the whole cast. That was quite a transition to go from one voice to the other. In radio, you define people by their voices. But, Brace, once he got going, you could see him reaching his stride, and he was fine. He was fine. And what a wonderful voice. We all know that. So the whole cast was in one room, one studio. Sound effects might be off in a side room. Depending on the studio, it might be in the studio with you. And so when you'd have kind of a mob scene of a posse or whatever, you'd have 5 or 6 men around the microphone, which I might add was suspended from the ceiling, so it was to grown-up height. And so they had this big green box that I stood on so that I could reach the microphone. So it's really back in the day technologically, obviously. So we did a broadcast at 7:30 for a half an hour for the Midwest, and then we stuck around and did a live broadcast at 10:30 for the West Coast. And for all of that work, I got $10. And finally the union came in, and then it went up to like $35. But it was a great working cast. It was very professional.
It just was a fun event for everybody. Nothing but smiles all the way around. What a great event for our joined communities together.
With the success of this year's Lone Ranger Days, many organizers hope to make it an annual event. At the very least, they hope to raise funds to erect a statue in Brace Beamer's honor right here in Centennial Park. In Oxford, I'm Catherine Havrilla, ONTV News.
It's hard to believe that was 10 years ago already. Mm-hmm. What a great event that was. Sadly, it only lasted 2 years before it went away, but it was a lot of fun. And Brace Beamer, literally and figuratively, one of the biggest personalities to live here in the area. So one of our most celebrated residents. Jimmy, you brought a list of names of people you want to talk about. Let me throw it over to you now.
Yeah, wow. Every time I come here, I always learn something new from Joe here. Wow, I love the research you guys do. But so, we were talking about Lone Ranger and horses and Hi-Ho Silver. We're going to switch it over to horsepower. So we have Miss Della Woods. I have a picture of her here. This is Della Woods, former NHRA dragster driver. So her brother was the crew chief, Bernie Woods, and they're both from Lake Orion. And Della raced in the 60s and early 70s. Their vehicle, as you see here on the side, it's nicknamed the Bernella's Funny Honey. And Bernella's is part Bernie and part Della. They smashed their names together. And also, she was the first female driver to go to the semifinals in the NHRA. And in 1999, she was the Michigan Motorsports Hall of Fame inductee. and also 2016 Mopar Hall of Fame.
So she's appeared at the downtown car show in downtown Lake Orion with her funny car on display. So I got to chat with her and see one of her cars on display in downtown Lake Orion.
Oh, that's great. You get around everywhere, Joe. I missed that. I want to check that out next time she does that. But switching gears, yeah, after, there's so many notable people in and around Lake Orion. And, the list is long, but I just kind of picked a few that I'm like, hey, I didn't know this. So moving on to an LO grad here, we have an astronaut. So class of 83. So in the Lake Orion High School, they have a wall of honor that they have many of these people there, one of them being Drew Feistel, if I'm saying it right.
I think it's Feistel, isn't it? Feistel, yeah.
So a few things about him: flew on 2 space shuttle missions and a final trip to the Hubble telescope in 2009.
Wow.
And Endeavour's final mission to the International Space Station in 2014. And in 2018, selected to space again to go to space as commander of the International Space Station.
Wow.
But since retired, 23 years in NASA, you see him here just hanging out at the side of the International Space Station. And there was an interview on Fox 2 at one point, too, I remember, with he had his Lake Orion shirt on, so it was some local attention. It was great to see that.
That's awesome.
And amazing. And sticking with aviation, we can't not talk about Amelia Earhart. She's not from here, but she did pass through here, flew through here. So her direct connection with Amelia Earhart, her many accomplishments in aviation: first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean, 1932. And pictured here is her experimental ice glider at the Scripps Wildwood Farm, 1929. And Scripps, as we know, we've done a segment before on the whole Scripps mansion and the Scripps family. He is a founder of the Gliders, Inc., and she was the first female glider pilot, Amelia Earhart. So there's a picture of her flying over Lake Orion, too, that exists that you've probably seen as well.
You know what's interesting about that? We talked about Jimmy Hoffa earlier. 2 of the most notorious missing person cases have links to Lake Orion. That is a weird coincidence.
I know. And something in the news recently that somebody might have found her plane at the bottom of the ocean with some high-tech sonar.
Yeah, sonar has detected in the Pacific Ocean the outline of a plane near the area where Amelia went missing, so they're going to send a dive team to investigate, and that would bring a close to one of the most notorious missing person cases of all time.
Yeah, that would be groundbreaking.
Yeah.
So, covering that about Scripps, I have another photo here. This is one amazing collage I just found the other day. So I don't know if you recognize anyone. It's kind of a smaller picture. It's the highest res that I could find. But in the front there, from left to right, you have Harvey Firestone, and then in the middle, Henry Ford. Wow. And then you have William Scripps on the far right. And then that middle row, the 2 tall people are William Wright and Orville Wright brothers.
Wow.
And then the very back, you have the security guards. But something where the Scripps was tied to them was crazy to see that actually happen. A little bit about William Scripps: established Wildwood Farms, and also where Canterbury Village is back there, that whole land there was developed as a farm. And he raised prize-winning cattle, like that was known for that. And he also, all those living quarters back there that are now little stores at Canterbury Village were living quarters at one point. And Scripps was more into the aviation portion versus like the news, which is mostly what the Scripps family is known for. But him and his brother did co-found the WWJ AM news radio that we know today.
Yeah.
So that was amazing to just keep reading. And the more I dig and the more we dig on Scripps, there's ties international. It's great. Moving on, we have another one. So another LO grad in the Wall of Honor. So Shannon Pettypiece.
I don't recognize that name. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So she graduated with a political science degree from the University of Michigan, go Wolverines. And since 2019, she's been working at the White House as the senior policy reporter for the NBC News Digital. So if you Google her name, she has so many articles that she's written that I didn't even know that there was even ties to Lake Orion. but a lot of her articles covering the economy and the way politics shape everyday lives. So it was interesting to see, like, yeah, we have many notable sports figures, you know, yeah, we have Jimmy Hoffa, we have baseball, football, but someone like this is great that being able to be like news reporter and also capture what's happening in daily lives.
Wow.
And then sticking with literary, we have Ernest Hemingway.
What's his connection?
So the Hemingway connection, so, you know, we have Hemingway Street over there off Clarkson Road. So one of the original settlers, Needham Hemingway, they're all related, the Hemingway family. And I just did a Google search one day and just started digging, like, I wonder if there's any relation. And come to find out, they are both descendants of Ralph Hemingway from England, born in 1603. So Ralph from England, 1603, had 2 children, Joshua and Samuel. Now, Ernest Hemingway is a descendant of Samuel, and Needham Hemingway is a descendant of Joshua. So there's still Michigan ties here, and they spent some summer months up in northern Michigan, up in Petoskey, Harbor Springs area. But yeah, on the far right there is Ernest Hemingway.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I met Ernest's granddaughter, the actress Mariel Hemingway, who was at the Motor City Comic Con a few years ago. I did not realize that those two are related.
Yeah, that Hemingway name, you know, you see it everywhere, and you see a lot of streets in this area named after famous people or important residents or people that first settled in this area. And then I couldn't leave without mentioning, you know, being Super Bowl weekend, we had 2 football players from the area. So we have Jeff Heath, a 2009 grad. He went undrafted in 2013 NFL draft, but was picked up by the Cowboys. He's had stints at with the Vegas Raiders and also signed with the Saints as of 2021. I believe he's now retired from the NFL, but I've heard he's also ran like some youth camps earlier in Lake Orion.
As a matter of fact, if we have time, we covered his first football camp that he held at Lake Orion High School. Jeff has not forgotten his roots. So if we have time, let's roll this video clip of Jeff Heath's football camp.
It's only July, but thoughts are already turning to the upcoming football season. Members of the Lake Orion Dragons team attended a football camp hosted by a former Dragon and current safety for the Dallas Cowboys, Jeff Heath. Jeff Heath graduated from Lake Orion High School in 2008. After graduating from Saginaw Valley State, Heath signed with the Dallas Cowboys as an undrafted free agent. He made his first NFL start on October 27, 2013 against the Detroit Lions. On Wednesday, July 8th, Heath returned to Lake Orion High School to host a football camp. The afternoon session was attended by Dragons football players who ran through a variety of drills.
You know, really the whole point of this camp was to expose the kids to different coaching. You know, they grow up in Lake Orion, so they get the same coaches, you know, pretty much from the time they're young till the time they're old. And, you know, that Lake Orion teaches a certain thing, and it's a great teaching tool, but, you know, guys who have played in college and played in the NFL, they are taught different techniques and, you know, different way of doing things. And I feel like the more you can learn as a football player, the more techniques and the more coaches, you know, the more knowledge you have, you know, the better all-around football player you'll be. So we really want to just give the kids, you know, a wider range of fundamentals that, you know, we've learned.
While he was a Dragon, Heath was coached by current football coach Chris Bell. The 2008 team made it to the championship game, but lost to Rockford High School for the state title. He told us the time he spent playing football for Lake Orion provided some of the greatest moments of his career.
I really cherished my time at Lake Orion, and I don't think I really realized how fun it was until I was out of it. And I mean, that's cliche, but everyone told me that, and I never really believed it. But you know, it's really true. And you know, I remember guys like Robbie Lentz, Charles Fleck, AJ Gill, I mean, Kim Bruce, Brandon Oaks. I can name them all. I'll name the whole team if you want me to.
The Lake Orion Dragons kick off their season against Chippewa Valley on Thursday, August 27th at Wayne State University. The home opener is scheduled for Thursday, September 3rd against Rochester Adams.
So as you can see, that was in 2015. He's been back since doing more camps. And one year for our ONTV food drive, him and his parents dropped off some signed memorabilia for us to raffle off from our food drive. So thanks to the Heath family.
Yeah.
He's not the only Lake Orion football player. Who else you got?
We have another one, Zach Kesey, also a LOHS grad. Let me bring up that picture. So, yeah, tremendous on both sides of the ball. I mean, he was a running back, blocking back on offense, linebacker on defense, and from what people are saying who played against him and with him in practice, said he was a tackling machine. So, well, wearing the Dragons uniform. So he played fullback in the NFL 6 years, from 2005 to 2010, mainly with the Redskins, the San Francisco 49ers, and the New Orleans Saints. So, yeah, it's the ties with football are great, and also on the Wall of Honor, too.
Yeah.
But like the other sports thing I don't have listed on here that I just remembered was obviously Michael Jordan didn't come from Lake Orion, but he did actually play at the Cirque building. So
yeah, I heard that story. Yeah.
Yep. So during the back-to-back Detroit Pistons time period, when they were visiting the Palace of Auburn Hills right down the road, they needed a place to practice. So they would come up here and be like, secretly, like, is there a gym nearby that we could practice? So yep. During the day, they'd come out here. Nobody knew about it. It's like, don't tell anybody. So, yeah, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and the whole team were practicing here at the Cirque building at the old high school. So
that's really amazing.
Yeah, there's ties everywhere that you just don't realize until you start digging more and more.
Yeah. One final famous resident is Nicole Curtis, who did a show, Rehab Addict, on HGTV, and then it went over to another network. I forget what it was called. But she's been back here to Lake Orion. She's renovated a cottage over by the Orion Veterans Memorial, turned that into a beautiful place. And from what I understand, she retains ownership of a lot of these places that she renovates.
Yeah.
And so she's one of our more famous residents too. So Lake Orion, I don't know, maybe it's something in the water, I don't know, but a lot of famous people have come out of Lake Orion, and the football program here in Lake Orion obviously is going to give rise to some incredible talent. And I don't know what it is about Lake Orion, but we've had a lot of historical connections to a lot of famous people.
Yeah, and history just keeps writing. It keeps writing itself. There's so much coming out of Lake Orion that it's great.
So we hope you enjoyed this history segment on the ONTV Food Drive. Thanks to everyone who's been popping in today and donating checks, and thanks to our sponsors that have made it possible for us to reach our goal, surpass our goal. It's been a really great day here at the ONTV studio, and we hope you enjoyed this segment. And we'll have Jimmy back in the studio. We have more topics, more history to discuss about this incredible community. And we hope you enjoy the rest of the food drive. We're live until 2 p.m. And so we hope you stick around, drop some food off here at our van parked out in front of our building, or you can make a contribution on our website. Click on the donate link at orionontv.org, and we'll be delivering everything to Fish a little bit later today. So looking forward to seeing the reaction when we arrive over there with our donations and food. So thanks for watching our segment, and stick around for the rest of the ONTV Food Drive. Jimmy, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Joe.
All
Always
right.
a pleasure. Thanks.
Orion Neighborhood Television is your community media outlet. Our mission is to empower community members and groups to create, communicate, and connect through television and video production. For more than 35 years, ONTV has offered video production classes to residents of all ages and provides them with the equipment and facilities to produce their own programs. Not only are residents encouraged to produce programs, but ONTV staff produces programs that promote local nonprofits and community groups like the Chamber of Commerce, the Orion Township Public Library, the Lake Orion Lions Club, and the Orion Arts Center, to name a few.
ONTV has been very important for all our events. We have our community Dragon on the Lake and Art and Flower Fair. We also have our holiday market, and they're always out there promoting us and covering our events, but also promoting through on-site interviews at the studio, which are very helpful, and to have the footage after for us to be able to use in our marketing materials and to put on our Facebook. It's been really beneficial for us.
Yes, ONTV has just been a great partner. We're so thankful for them. And what they do is they really come to all of our events, especially our ribbon cuttings. Having their ribbon cuttings documented so that they can archive it, put it in their business history, post it on social media means so much to our small business owners. They've really never seen anything like that before, and that's what's so unique about the Orion community and ONTV is that they're always there for us. Last year they did 18 ribbon cuttings. They stay from the start to the finish. They interview the small business owners, and we all just couldn't be more grateful.
The staff ventures out into the community to cover events like parades, festivals, concerts, and high school sports. And for more than 30 years, ONTV has provided the equipment and staffing needed to televise township and village meetings live to Lake Orion residents.
In Michigan, it's a unique model, and I don't know how it works in other states, but in Michigan specifically, we don't have to pay to put the equipment in our facilities so we can broadcast these meetings. And government transparency, it's not just a buzzword, it's required in today's day and age. But the fact that our residents aren't paying for that through their property taxes is invaluable in my opinion. The fact that it's funded through these franchise fees that the cable companies have paid forever, a few pennies literally on cable bills helps fund this really important, government isn't trusted anymore. This is one way people trust us because we're closer to them, but everything we do is in the light of day. And it's thanks to this funding that exists, a really unique mechanism that allows us to continue to give that to our residents.
I think it's mission critical for clarity, honesty, and just getting the message of local government out to its residents. I mean, social media has become a way to do that, but ONTV is on social media. So I don't think that we can broadcast meetings in any other way or better at a better rate or a better price than what ONTV provides.
ONTV also provides the video equipment that Lake Orion High School students use as they prepare for a career in broadcasting.
The franchise fees, the PEG fees that fund ONTV and the Cable Commission actually benefit and fund our program as well. We're able to ask for grants from that organization, from ONTV, from the Cable Commission to help us. We're very fortunate to have one of the best broadcast programs in the state, if not the country. And they're a huge funding revenue source for us to be able to provide our students, past and present, with amazing technology that's very comparable to what the professionals use in the industry.
ONTV's podcast studio and training give producers an opportunity to educate and entertain listeners. To sign up for classes or for more information, call 248-393-1060 or visit orionontv.org.
All right, our little sizzle reel there. You learn about Orion Neighborhood Television with that video. Ian Locke back in the studio here to wrap up our 12 to 2 lunch break and the final one of this 5-day food drive for fish. It's been a crazy day. We thought we were going to come in and have a nice relaxing day, learn about some history, talk about fish and all the great people and the volunteers over there, and all of a sudden we had check presentations, live pop-ins, unexpected other check presentations. So very, very good. I'd like to jump upstairs. Joey, if we can show what we're at collection-wise, it is astounding what we've come up with here. $16,385 collected so far, and you can see our goal was just a lowly $6,000. And thanks to our sponsors, thanks to our online donations, which really took off over the last couple days. Thank you to the community for coming out and supporting Oxford Orion Fish and this food drive on ONTV. Without your support, we would not be able to blow through that goal by $10,000 plus. So I just want to give you a reminder, the food drive does not conclude at the end of this live segment here at the 12 to 2 lunch break. We'll have programming throughout the day, and I believe we have our prime time segments as well from 7 to 9. So get those donations in. The online donations are going to be available at orionontv.org. You can click on our website and click on that food drive logo, and it'll take you right to our charity GoFundMe account. where you can donate today. If you want to donate in person, you have to get down here by 4 p.m. to the ONTV studios at 1349 Joslyn Road. And you can donate your monetary gifts there, or you can come by the studio next week during our regular business hours, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. and drop off that check if you can't get in to the studio today. We're still collecting food items, right? We had a nice little run on that yesterday with the associates down at the Lake Orion Home Depot. Came with a whole van of food and really helped us, kind of clean up that van a bit, fill it up a little bit. We still have about a quarter of the van to go plus. But here are some food items. I guess you saw them up there. We'll go back to it. Sorry about that, Joey. Live TV here. But the typical things, hearty foods that you have in the winter months: chilies, stews, sloppy joe mixes, taco mix, taco shells, baked beans, chunky soups, canned chicken, feminine hygiene products, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, all that good stuff that everybody needs. And just as a reminder, too, toilet paper is in need. That item, if you have a bridge card, you can't buy toilet paper with your bridge card. It's not an eligible item, which blows my mind. So toilet paper is a huge donation need over at Fish. We need that sort of thing. The TP has got to come, so we got to make sure we get that on the shelves. So yes, why are we doing this food drive currently is the rush after the holidays. We were really stripped bare at the shelves at Fish, and there's even one point leading into the holidays where Fish had to close their doors for a period of time because it was picked bare, basically. So now here we are trying to get our donations on. You see the website on the monitor there, orionontv.org. Get those donations in. And these donations that we're collecting will bridge us to the next food drive, I think is in May. Joe, help me out here. Is it in May, the next food drive? The post office food drive is in May. And the cash proceeds that we are collecting today, the record number of cash proceeds, over $16,000, allows the food pantry to buy strategically. They buy fresh fruits and vegetables, fresh meat, and they can buy as they need as they go along. And they do a great job of really stretching that dollar for their clientele. If you are in a food emergency, don't worry, we can get assistance coming your way. Fish is there for you. Call 248-628-3933. Leave a message or head onto their website at oxfordorionfish.org, but call that number 248-628-3933. There's somebody there to help. We hear stories from Fish that say people call in the morning and they have food by the end of the day. All right, I'm Ian Locke, Executive Director here at Orion Neighborhood Television, wrapping up the final 12 to 2 live segment in the studio. Tune in later today. Tell your friends, donate, donate, donate. Help those in need around the Addison, Oxford, and Oakland Townships and Addison Townships. Fish is awesome. Help them out. We'll see you next time here at ONTV. Goodbye, everybody.